Hi, I'm Taylor McNair with West Physiotherapy, and welcome to the first video in my three-part foot pain / plantar fasciitis video series. Why foot pain? Why plantar fasciitis? Because I know for a lot of us, we're walking and running. These are the only two activities that are getting us out of the house, getting us our exercise, maintaining our mental health. We don't have gyms available, and so we're walking and running more, and also we may be walking and running more instead of doing lower impact activities like elliptical, rowing, swimming. So when that happens, sometimes you can end up with foot pain, especially plantar fasciitis. Happened to my dad. He usually does the elliptical or rows or swims. Now he's walking 5 miles a day, and he has plantar fasciitis. So, okay, not all foot pain is plantar fasciitis, and that's okay. So how do you know if you might have plantar fasciitis? Okay, there are three sort of classic signs. One is the location of the pain, and the other two are the nature of the pain. So location of the pain tends to be on the bottom aspect of your foot, back towards the heel, okay? It usually hurts first steps in the morning. This is like a classic sign for plantar fasciitis. First steps out of bed, ow, 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 you start moving more, it starts to feel a little bit better. The nature of the pain tends to be worse with increased activity on your feet, but it doesn't necessarily hurt right then, and better if you're resting, but then the worst if you've rested and you first get up and start putting pressure through your foot again, like in the morning, or if you sit down for an hour or so and then you get back up and those first couple steps you're kind of limping around. Okay, I've experienced that. It's not a lot of fun. Okay, what is it? What is plantar fasciitis? So, sometimes it doesn't, you can have foot pain. It might be the plantar fascia. We're going to kind of do this talk as if it is. Traditionally, or medically, we're talking about thick ligamentous fascia on the bottom of the foot that helps support the arch. And this tissue is experiencing some microtraumas and inflammation, and that's creating pain. So that's kind of the traditional explanation. When we think about what the foot is doing when you're walking and running, you're landing on it, you're absorbing energy, you're storing a little bit of energy as you move over the foot, and then releasing that energy again as you push or spring off of the foot. So when we get into trouble with how the foot is working biomechanically, how it's functioning to absorb and release energy, then a lot of times that's what starts to create different kinds of pain. Plantar fasciitis is one of those types of pain that we sort of quantify. Okay, so one of the symptoms is fairly simple to address, that morning pain. It's a classic sign, first steps out of bed, pain. And there's something that you can easily do about it, and that's to get a night splint. So you can find night splints. I used to see them in the Sky Mall magazine all the time, or on Amazon. They might even have some at a drugstore. I know everything is a little bit harder to get right now, but if someone tells me it hurts first steps out of bed and I can't look at their foot, I can't work on their foot, then I would recommend try a night splint. You're going to know if it helps. If you feel better when you step out of the bed and you notice that you have a little less pain during the day, then it's likely helping. Okay, why does the night splint help? So the traditional explanation for why those first steps out of bed hurt in the morning are that this tissue has experienced microtraumas during the day and you have inflammation. At night, the tissue is healing. That's what our body does when we sleep. It heals. When you're under the covers and sleeping, okay, your foot is sort of flopped over, kind of pointed in the direction of a ballerina or plantar flexed. So that's putting that tissue or plantar fascia on slack. So it's healing in kind of like a shortened position. So when you get out of bed and you press the foot back the other way, you are stretching or lengthening that tissue that only started to heal during that nighttime sleeping. So you're kind of re-injuring it, re-micro-traumaing it, re-tearing it, whatever you want to say, recreating the inflammatory cascade. And that's part of what causes some of the recidivism or chronic nature of this bottom of the foot pain that sometimes can go on for a long time if people don't nip it in the bud. So first kind of quick fix is a night splint, and there are a lot of different kinds on the market, and if you're curious about which one that I have found to be the most helpful, then just send me a private message and I'll get you a link. I can show you a few different kinds, but I'll show you the one that I think is the most effective at keeping the foot in the best position and helping the tissue to heal overnight. Okay, the other kind of quick fix, it's not as simple, is a taping technique. This is a Mulligan taping technique. Brian Mulligan is a physical therapist out of Australia. And this technique kind of takes some of the tension off of that plantar fasciitis or tissues on the bottom of the foot by repositioning the heel or calcaneus. So the nice thing about this taping technique is you try it and you know immediately if it works. If you're having pain when you take steps, you do the taping technique, it doesn't hurt, it's working. Leave the tape on for at most a couple of days. Obviously, if you have allergy or sensitivity to adhesive, don't try this. If you notice redness or irritation around the tape, take it off. If it feels worse or just not any better, then also take it off. Okay, so this is a taping technique. It's not kinesio tape. It's athletic tape. Okay, this, again, you can find this kind of paper athletic tape. You can find anything on Amazon. It might take you a little time to get it, but sometimes a drugstore will have this. Sometimes the athletic tape that it has is not as stiff, and that's part of what makes this tape work. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to demonstrate this. Right here. So if we're talking plantar fasciitis, then this is usually where your pain is, and we're going to be repositioning this heel. Okay. It's like adventures in Gangle selfies. Okay. So I take some of the tape off and then I flip it over to the non-sticky side so I get an idea of if I have the right amount of tape. Okay, this is kind of what the technique is going to look like. It's going to start on the outside and wrap around like that. All right, that's a pretty good amount. I put one layer on just to map out where I'm going without any tension. And kind of cupping the heel here. And also it helps protect the skin a little bit so that when you do put tension on the tape, it's really helping to reposition the joint. We had a little visitor there. Reposition the joint and not tug on the skin. All right, so I'm starting that again. All right, now that I'm gonna apply some tension, basically in the direction I want to have a little bit of a flex. Unweight the heel, and then kind of pull that heel around that way. Okay, and then you test it out, you take some steps. It's usually going to feel a little stiffer because of the tape, but if it helps alleviate the pain, then Yay! All right. So remember, private message me if you're curious about the night splints. And if you're interested in the next video, which will be mobilizing and stretching techniques to help foot pain / plantar fasciitis, then just comment below, yes, please, and I will tag you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.